Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a relaxing summer. Um, we'll just get started. We're looking at the Istation tutorial for reading. Last year was our first full year of implementing Istation. The administration has decided to continue with Istation, so we are no longer submitting data to the parents or the state from TPRI. It will all be Istation. For the pre-K, kinder, first grade hallway, this data is very important because it is the only formal assessments that are not teacher-driven or generated. For the second through fourth grade hallway, there are some lead forward things, some TEKS resources, different assessments that you'll have, but the Istation assessment is the one that goes to the state. So we want to make sure that we ourselves as teachers are fluent in Istation. If you go to the internet and go to istation.com, this is the different site than what the students click on when they're on the student computers with the little boy with the cape. You can click on this icon that's on, or shortcut that's on the computers, but when you log in to that particular site, it logs you in as if you were a student. So you can participate in the curriculum and in the assessments just like a student can. But we want to look at it from the administrative side. First thing, once you log into istation.com, in blue, you'll go to customer login. From there, I'm going to log out because it still remembers me. Once you click on istation.com, it will come up with a username and password. It is the same username and password from last year. If you have forgotten the information, there is the little purple tab there that says forgot username and password, and it will walk you through it. If you're new to the campus, then just come see myself or Mr. Ty Hill, and we will figure it out for you. But put in your information. Oops, that won't work on this one. Try again. Okay. There will be some slight differences because yours will only show your students. If you're second, third, and fourth reading, you'll see your different homerooms. So it will look a little bit closer to mine. If you're pre-K through first grade, it's just going to show your classroom. So if we go to classroom, pre-K, kinder, and first grade teachers, you'll want to make sure before school starts, before the students come in, that you click on login cards. Very easy, very basic. I recommend clicking on the large just because they're not very large themselves. But this is the student's username and password. Their username will be their first name all the way out with their last initial, and then their password is their lunch and library number. Older kids, second through fourth, you may not need to do that. So you may want to wait until the students come in and just remind them, hey, it's your first name and your lunch number, or it's your first name and last initial with your lunch number. But with pre-K, kinder, and first, those will need to be done prior to. The library has said that they'll laminate them for you. So I put mine on index cards just to make them a little bit sturdier, but however you want to do it. First thing we want to look at is in your classroom. When you're there, I've chosen Miss Cantrell's. She retired last year after 27 years with Collinsville, so I just wanted to choose hers. We do have multiple products. If you look at the top, Istation Reading started last year. Istation Math is actually being used as a pilot program over summer school for the 2017 year. And Istation Espanol, we do not have licensing for that. The tiers are the same. If you look here, it will show students that have the assessment complete and students that are incomplete. for the month. Istation tests the students every month. It is the first day of the month or the first time that the students have logged in for the month. So this is a very nice kind of a snapshot, if you will, of, okay, who still hasn't finished. This will also tell you how much time that the student has spent during that week and how many days in that week that they've been on the program. So that's kind of nice to have as well. But the reports, the ISIP summary, if you click this one, it will show you the summary for your class. It will put all of your tier 3s first, all of your tier 2s next, and all of your tier 1s will be at the bottom. So it highlights the students in need. If you have a tier 1 student, that means that they're working on grade level, no intervention required. If you have a tier 2 student, that means intervention is required and they need a minimum of 30 additional minutes. If you have a tier 3 student, that is urgent intervention and the students need at least an hour. So you may be using 0 hour and that would count as their 30 minutes, but then we need to get 30 minutes somewhere throughout the day. But so this is very good information. When you have a student that is a tier 3, especially tier 2, you can see this is the overall reading. Comprehension 1, word analysis 2, vocabulary 1, text fluency 1. So word analysis, that's the spelling. So he is a tier 2 because of his spelling. So if you ever see a plus sign anywhere, that means there is additional information. So if I want to know what's going on with this particular student, this is going to show where he was in various parts here. It shows the subtest, shows the month. So I want to scroll down because we're in June. One area of weakness was the word analysis because he did fine in May. So I want to look at June. Again, if there's a plus sign, there's additional information. Here, this tells you the day of the week that he worked in the program and also how much time he spent and if there were any kind of red flags. So red means excessive idle time. He wasn't answering in a timely manner. He was sitting. There was a lot of sitting. Excessive aborts is him getting out of the program, which he doesn't have that. Not at school is something that a teacher has to put in to show he was absent if you wanted to do that. But what I really like is here it will show how long it took for that particular subtest and what was the score. So this was, he scored 8 correct out of 13. The word analysis is scoring 3 out of 8. And so that's, what we're looking at right here. Since it is spelling, it tells them to spell sweater. This is the response of what he typed in. A score of 1 means you answered correctly, and a score of 0 means you answered incorrectly. This is how long it took from the time the question was asked from the time that the answer was submitted. Time out means that the student ran out of time. And so where it shows 45 seconds, that lets you know that they gave them 45 seconds to spell the word science, and he did not press enter or submit for what he had typed. So that's what timeout means. So that also tells you how long the students have. And a minute to spell one word, if you sit there in silence for a minute, it's longer than you might initially think. But anytime you have a student where you're looking back on their tiers and what happened, that information is very important. Not only to know what they got right, but why, or not that they missed something, because we know they're tier 3, they missed it, but what did they miss and why did they miss it? So that's why the individual question and answer responses is so important. Um, Back to your classroom, the reports that are going home in the report cards, when you scroll down at the related reports, it's broken down into reading and math. So you want to make sure that, whichever one you're wanting, but in this case, reading. View additional reports. This gives you many valuable reports. But the student summary handout, if we customize the report, you can choose Istation Reading, Istation Math. This is the assessment reading, assessment math. If we go into language, if we have an ESL student, when I gave the report card documents, our ESL students had an English report and a Spanish report, and this is where this comes from. Targeted users, you may just want to pull reports for your 0-hour kids more frequently, and so that lets you do so you don't have to print out everyone. But if I click on Savannah, because she had tested and done awesome, we like to show the good stuff. This is what it looks like for the parent. Lets them know their overall reading and their text fluency. This is also important. A lot of times we may have a student reading, overall reading may be say a 2.3, and or say 4. Their overall reading is a 4, and their text fluency is 9th grade, because we've had that. And the parents are like, oh, they're great, they're 9th grade. They can recall the words. Text fluency means the rate at which you read a word correctly. The overall reading includes comprehension. So we want to make sure that we are looking at both of those, because they can be red flags. I know this is a lot of information rather quickly. On your home page, when you log in, there is a view training videos, and these are all really wonderful. Well, I say all really wonderful. It's Istation videos, so as great as they can be. But a lot of them are just a couple minutes long. They're specific to what you're looking for. And so if I can't help you, if we can't find it in the training videos, there's this wonderful green button that says contact us, and there's very little wait time, and I've had great response with anyone that I've talked to. So they have an excellent customer service and support team. But any questions that you may have, I know this is just the basic. This is kind of that introduction where you know that you can get the kids logged in and you can see those initial reports of where they are. Because if you'll click on Tier 1, it will show you all your Tier 1 students. Click on Tier 2, and so forth. So a lot of valuable information. Make sure that you're looking at this information and that you're getting that information to the parents as well. And you can use that for the data for your grouping. If there's anything that I can help you with in any areas, please feel free to call me, text me, come by my room. I'm always ready, willing, and hopefully mostly able to help. You guys have a great day.